I'm Sam the Gassick.
And I'm Dreadful Dan Gallagher. And we're two old buddies that have lived our life at the edge of the mainstream.
So come join us where things are a little odd. This is the
You've got to believe.
It's alive! It's loose!
This earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder.
Hello, Oddcast aficionados. It's me, Dreadful Dan G, here as usual with Sam. Hi, Sam. How you doing?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, enjoying the balmy British winter.
Balmy.
Yeah. And today we're also joined by a very special guest for the first time from Los Angeles, the experimental rock musician, Harry Cloud. Hello, Harry.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
How are things there in LA?
Pretty good. It's pretty warm. And I have my Christmas tree up from last year, still going strong.
I noticed that you've got an affinity for Christmas.
I do, yeah.
If you had it up the whole year, you've just not taken it down.
Yeah. It's doing pretty good. It's like a little brown, but it's been there a whole year.
That's brilliant.
I was thinking about getting another one and just filling my house, never taking out the Christmas trees, and just have like dead trees all over my house.
Living like a weird forest.
Or never take down decorations. Like I still have Halloween stuff up, so just like pile on Halloween, Christmas.
Constant
turkeys.
Celebration.
Yeah.
So this year, for listeners, Harry released the album The Pig and the Machine, which I listened to and loved, and I reviewed it recently on my YouTube channel on Dreadful Dan's Discs. And in that video, Harry, I was kind of thinking, like, there's a lot of Christmas imagery in your stuff, because on the back cover there's that picture of the like puking Father Christmas.
Yeah.
And obviously your album After School Special, it's got that image of the tree on the front cover with all like chopped up limbs under the tree.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it originally just started that I just loved Christmas growing up, like a lot of people do, and in love with like movies like Elf and Home Alone and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And then as I got older, I thought it was like the kind of like have you seen Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd? Like
love it.
Like the drunk, or like Scrooged with
Bill Murray,
Bobcat Goldthwait, like the depressed, drunk, suicidal Santa, like just something about something that's like wholesome for kids being either like fucked up or evil or depressed or drunk. So part of it's just genuine Christmas nostalgia, and then part of it is taking this thing that's supposed to be, it just turned into this like absurd thing that I sort of weave in and out image-wise. And I had this like sequined Santa suit made for me that's kind of got like a big boxing hood, when they come out like this.
Oh, cool.
That I had made to like perform in, that I've worn a little bit. So
brilliant. What made you come up with the title, The Pig and the Machine?
Well, some of the stuff I come up with doesn't always have like a deep meaning or even like much meaning. I mean, that line was like something that I came up with a song. It was a lyric in the title track, and I thought it just sounded really cool and epic. but then it ended up turning into something there's a theme throughout about a relationship I was in with someone, and the pig in the machine the pig was kind of like me, like a gluttonous, slothful person, and then the machine was like looking at her as kind of this like cold-hearted, mechanical person, and our that last song was kind of about our breakup.
Oh man, I didn't realize it was such a sad album.
Yeah, I mean, it stuff's all over the place with it. But yeah, like that's a sad song, that last one. Yeah, I just thought it was like a cool title, you know.
Because I wondered if you heard of Florence and the Machine, I was thinking, are you calling Florence fat? Is that what you're doing?
Oh, no. I didn't think about that.
There's also have you heard of the Amnesia game series? There's a couple of them out, and they've got
like video games.
Yeah, they're video games, and it's like first-person kind of horror stuff. And I think like the subtitle of the first one or the second one is called "A Machine for Pigs," and I think it's got something to do with. I think it does actually have something to do with pigs as well. And I wondered because you've got a couple of gaming references, right? In the
I do, yeah.
And I was wondering, is it anything to do with that? I wasn't sure.
No, I guess a machine for pigs sounds like a slaughterhouse mechanism.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. I've not played it.
Pig smasher.
That's what I thought when I first got the album, actually. Like, I just had these kind of Texas Chainsaw vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then all the artwork's so, like, adorable. So I guess it's kind of like you said about the Christmas imagery. And I think, like, having listened to some of your music, that feels like a kind of constant theme running through. Is there's a sort of, like, undermining of, like, expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, like, some of the genres of rock that you're kind of playing around with, especially some of the kind of, like, more classic rock stuff. Like, when some of your songs get going, you then kind of, like, sabotage them from left field, put in something a bit weird or, like, unexpected or a little bit sour. Is that a fair kind of approximation of your stuff?
Definitely like mismatches or matches up stuff a lot. I mean, I don't do it consciously. It's kind of just how I write. Like, when I'm writing a song on guitar, like when it goes to part B, it isn't necessarily I'm thinking about like chorus or to tie this in. It's more just I'll just start hearing another rhythm and then I'll go into that. And songs end up being, I mean, there are a lot of traditional songs on this, like verse, chorus, but a lot of my writing can just be like maybe like 4 parts and all of them are different. Mm-hmm. The only song in here I feel like it doesn't really flow well is the first song.
Oh, really?
Fantasia.
A little mismatch there. But yeah, I don't do it like consciously. And then I think as far as the cutesy stuff, like I do have sort of like some childlike, whimsical kind of children's songs vibe with some of my writing. I don't know. I like Kimya Dawson a lot, some of her old stuff. And like, I don't know, Velvet Underground kind of has that thing, or like the Vaselines, they kind of do that a little bit.
Nice. I'm going to make
Who else do you think?
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, who else do you think has influenced you, well, either specifically on The Pig and the Machine or just generally in your music?
Well, it's kind of strange, but I actually listen to Fish a lot.
Fish?
That jam band, yeah.
Yeah. Not
like,
the Marillion frontman.
Yeah, some of like the older, like 90s stuff, live stuff from them. So I don't know how much that really, I would say more probably like, you know, bands like Melvins or stuff like that influence more of the kind of stuff I write. But I mean, no, not really. I don't know how much of their stuff bleeds into what I do, but it's kind of a weird one I listen to. As far as like maybe the album artwork juxtaposition, I mean, I don't know how much the Melvins influenced that, but I always thought that was cool. They did that, like with having flowers or cute things on for their album art, but then it's like really heavy, inside.
Yeah.
And then also for this artwork, I was inspired by the Swans artwork, where they just have right on the cover, just taking up the whole cover, the name of the album.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I was thinking when I did with this album artwork.
Yeah, now you say it, it's really clear. I didn't think of that.
It's funny.
Makes me think of that.
Talk about. So go on.
But specifically, there's one. Swans have got an album called "Public Castration" is a good idea. I think it's just got the words in those big, tall block letters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brutal.
It's funny you talk about Melvins, Harry. Because
and specifically about albums with flowers on.
Yeah. Dan, go on.
Well, because the subject of today's episode and the reason why Harry is joining us is to help us cover Melvins' 1996 album, Stag. So Stag is probably one of my favourites. I've got a few other Melvins favourites, but what do you think of it, Harry?
It's my favorite album of theirs. I mean, that one's kind of a nostalgic one too. When it came out, I think I was 13, maybe 14, and I used to I really liked that one the best. I thought it was really diverse. I liked that it did some of the songs like Skin Horse and Berthas, where he did kind of this like pretty melodic voice,
Yeah.
Especially Berthas, it's just kind of like feel good, kind of like rockin'. And then or like Black Bach, that was kind of
I love that
for them. But Buck Owens really stands out. I feel like that's kind of an uncommon song that they did. It's really kind of like metal in a way. But I don't know. I mean, the first album I heard of theirs was Stoner Witch, and then I really liked that. And then I heard Houdini, which I liked, but not as much. And then I got, I don't know what all came after that. But I don't know, Stag seems to be a lot of people's favorites. Like, I actually talked with Kevin Rootmanis, and he was saying that he thought that was their best record.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Kevin was Melvin's bassist from 1999 onwards, I think, for about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I think the Big Business Guys joined in 2005. So
that's quite interesting that he thinks that's... he didn't pick one of his own albums that he played on. For me, this was probably like the maybe 4th or 5th Melvins record I heard. Probably heard some of the like earlier, noisier, heavier stuff first. So for me, this was just like suddenly them popping into like psychedelic Technicolor, just so many different angles. Like you said, kind of like more this like poppy stuff, actual kind of like some singing.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of that kind of like more just like straight up kind of blues rock and hard rock influence stuff. But yeah, I love the eclecticism of it. And Sam, I think, is this the first time that you listened to this record?
Yeah, so my Melvins history is basically I've listened to like Houdini a few times, and Dan will play the odd random track to me. And that's about the extent of it. So I'm coming in fairly fresh, but I hadn't heard this album at all before listening to it for this podcast. And I guess it'll be interesting to hear what you guys think, because I thought it was all right. Immediate downer on it. I was like, it's definitely eclectic. It's definitely
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's
experimental.
weird. If I heard it for the first time now at my age, I might not, think it's as great. Who knows? Like I don't listen to the album currently. I mean, I listened to it in preparation for this podcast. I drove around and played it in its entirety, but that's the first time I've put it on in I don't know how many years,
Right. Yeah, I felt like it took me 3 or 4 listens.
Oh, you listened to it that many times, huh?
Yeah. Well, I had it on like in the background whilst I was working.
He's a true professional.
Yeah,
That's
I do because I want to get a feel for it.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I think especially something like this, it's not immediately accessible. I would probably say, well, for me anyway. And I felt like it deserved like a good couple of listens. And it did grow on me more, so I can see how it would be a grower. But there was some. Not to kind of give away spoilers, but I really liked the like intermission tracks, like the little short,
really?
like in betweeny stuff, rather than the full track. Especially the second half of the album, I liked more than the first half, I would say. Okay. But yeah, I kind of wrote notes for each song as we kind of go through, but. Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting experience anyway. And again, like I'm not too like au fait with Melvin stuff, so I'm always intrigued. And I know Dan's a big fan, so yeah, I wanted to give him a proper listen.
It's kind of funny in a way because like we both got into Nirvana at an early age, and they've been like a big part of our lives.
Yeah.
You never kind of explored them. I know, Harry, you're a fan as well, aren't you?
Nirvana?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I found the Melvins. I think a lot of people did that way. But I can see someone liking Nirvana, not liking the Melvins. I mean, Nirvana is a lot more accessible. But Nirvana had some weird stuff too. Like some of the Incesticide stuff is super weird.
Yeah. That's weirdly, I think we were talking about this the other day. Like the Incesticide stuff is always the stuff that if I've got like a random play, you know what I mean? Like just listening to whatever and an Incesticide track comes on, I'll never skip it because it's always like feel like it's the most interesting.
That was always my favorite record, even though it's not technically an album or whatever. That was my favorite compact disc of theirs.
Yeah.
I really love the early, like the Dale demo stuff that's on there, like Hairspray really Queen and Beeswax. Actually, the one time I met Dale, it was really embarrassing. I was quite drunk.
I didn't know you met Dale.
The Melvins came and played. It was when they were doing the soundtrack for this guy's short movies.
The wrestling movie?
It's called it's called BB, and they played 3 of the same one guy's films. Cameron Jamie, his name was.
Okay.
Spook House, BB, and Cranky Claws.
Great name. Right.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, that was really cool because that was all about this thing they have in like Central Europe.
Right.
The Krampus. The Krampus,
right.
Sorry. Krampus, you know, and it comes and...
the Krampus movie the other night.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the evil Santa, basically.
Yeah.
This guy had made this like silent documentary just of actual footage of these like guys and it's all in these little tiny backwater villages. So again, it's got a bit like Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe. And they're just turning up at people's houses and like hitting them with sticks. And they look absolutely terrifying. But anyway, the Melvins did like a live soundtrack and they played kind of like long, doomy, ambient kind of stuff. And they came and did it at my friend's like university. Jesus. So it was really cool.
Who was on bass then?
Kevin.
Okay.
But yeah, so Dale was just there like taking his drum kit apart. And I'd had a few beers and I was like, the Dale demo is my favorite Nirvana stuff.
What did he say?
I think he just said thanks. Like, I felt like thanks. Like he was genuinely. They're obviously used to handling fanboys.
Yeah.
They were really nice. And then Buzz kind of like sat with us for about an hour and listened to us talk shit that he probably didn't want to hear.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What did he say in that hour? Anything, any kind of little nuggets there?
I just remember he was going to
Brown
exercise.
nuggets, gold nuggets, whatever colour.
He's
going to exercise. I just remember he was going to exercise.
Down with your friends, and he joined you guys.
Yeah, he just sat with us in the. It was like in a university lecture hall, you know, like an auditorium. So he just came and sat in the seats, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
They're really really cool. Anyway, I can't remember where I was going with that. Where are we going? Oh yeah, Nirvana thing.
Yeah, connection.
Because we're thinking, I've gone deep into like a bootleg space where suddenly, I think it's because of lockdown, I'm getting into all the stuff I was into in the mid-90s.
Did you like Alice in Chains?
No.
That's a band I never even heard, I don't think.
Oh, really? I was just wondering, speaking of 90s, because they were had like got some award from the Mopop Museum in Seattle, and there was all these like 90s grunge bands that were like playing their songs, like Tad and Soundgarden people and like Chris Novoselic, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's weird. Alice in Chains, I never felt was like a big thing in Britain like it was in America.
Oh, really?
It was like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, a little bit. But yeah, Alice in Chains and that kind of, it just felt more American, and maybe it was just a bit harder to jump over here. I don't know.
They didn't really
think, Dan,
break them as hard here, did they?
No. I couldn't tell you one Alice in Chains song. I couldn't tell you one. I don't know. I know they were big, but I don't know. I literally can utter a song. But I know they're kind of considered grunge. But then when it's like I've heard bits and pieces, I'm like, is that grunge or is that the kind of commercial grunge that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is grunge anyway? Pearl Jam doesn't sound grungy to me.
No.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Dan will agree with you. Dan's very vocal about that.
It's one of my, what do they call it? Being triggered. I get triggered by the word grunge.
Triggered by it. It's rock, and that's fine. It came out at a time of grungy music stuff. Yeah. But yeah, no, I totally appreciate when you see those videos now, like that kind of like, and it has that sheen, like, for like a live or whatever, and then and it's like, this still feels like, like Guns N' Roses or like whatever, rather than Nirvana. So it's weird to kind of sometimes put them in the same space.
Yeah.
To me.
I thought all those bands are kind of different. I don't know.
And then can you imagine so you're listening to that kind of stuff and then Stag comes out and it's being like, I don't know, you're picking up your like, little rock or metal magazine and you're like, yeah, these are the godfathers of grunge, and you rush out to buy a copy of Stag and you get confronted with this just like totally weird music. I'd love to know, and even like Melvins fans of that time, this must have been quite a jarring listen, like especially if you're into the earlier years, to kind of hear them doing all this experimental stuff. I know a lot of people hated these kind of albums, this and Honky, and then they were like really happy when they went back to the like heavier sound on the Maggot.
Yeah.
So I think it's turned a lot of people off, but that's it. It's what happens, I suppose, when you kind of have an album that's that eclectic. There's going to be stuff that just isn't to people's tastes.
Mm-hmm. I heard Buzz say once, actually, people were calling them sellouts when they did Bullhead, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I guess because they were doing like Ozma and Gluey Porch Treatments, and it was all these kind of like shit math rock songs, and then they started like simplifying it a little bit,
Yeah.
I thought that was weird.
That makes sense, though.
How did you feel about like the trilogy after having the recording sound of the Atlantic years? That was a little jarring for me.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I jumped in, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Maggot and Bootlicker the first albums I heard. I think Bootlickers might still be one of my favorites.
Yeah,
to me, it's like a perfect kind of mesh of like heavy stuff and some
the
more
Bootlicker
experimental stuff. Those two albums
together, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know these ones.
Yeah, sorry, we can back.
Let's bring it back to
the
Stag then.
Cool.
A little bit of background just for our listeners, I suppose. So Stag, it came out on the 15th of July, 1996 on Mammoth Atlantic. So Mammoth was like an indie label that started in 1989, but they started like a working relationship with Atlantic in 1992. And this probably was one of the last albums that came out through that relationship, because that ended then in 1997. So this was their third album with Atlantic. You know, this is their major label deal, you know, in the wake of Nirvana and all that alternative rock and grunge. And I don't think the band, I mean, they were probably the last people that thought it was going to pan out, right? I think I've had like read interviews with Buzz. Basically, you know, other bands went into these kind of deals and got screwed over, but I think they went in kind of knowing what their limitations were, knowing that they weren't going to be the commercial success that Atlantic wanted. So they kind of like, let's make the most of it, and let's make the most of those recording budgets and do something a bit different. And it feels like with this final Atlantic album, they really pushed that envelope to the extreme and just explored every single kind of like angle that they could come up with.
Yeah, I think as far as making the most of it, I think I've heard interviews too where Buzz, you know, he thought they were eventually going to get dropped, so they saved that money. You know, they tried to not just use like, oh, we have this budget for this album, let's spend all of it. You know, so
they're smart guys, aren't they?
Yeah, I think he's pretty business savvy.
I think Stoner Witch specifically sounds really good. Like that's a really well recorded and produced album. Though this one seems to have been like produced and recorded in some fits and bursts. Like everyone's contributing songwriting here.
I think that's why it's so different than their other ones, because the bass player was contributing a lot as well in the writing, which makes me think maybe that's part of the reason they don't play a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Besides the bit, you know? And like when they were doing those full album shows, they didn't do Stag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, good point. They did do Stoner Witch though, didn't they?
Yep.
So did it end badly with the bassist, or is it you just think this is songwriting? Like,
I think Buzz just got tired of playing with him. I don't know that anything specifically bad happened.
okay.
Watch like live stuff
of
of them. He kind of like mopes around the stage and almost looks kind of like sad or something when they're playing.
So that's this is Mark D that we're talking about. Mark Dutrom. And yeah, I mean, that influence on Stoner Witch didn't become apparent to me until I heard some of his solo stuff recently, which I really liked. But there's one album specifically that's really Stoner Witchy.
Which album is that?
Is it called? I can't remember what it's called. Let me have a look.
So why wouldn't they play Stag in full then, whilst you're looking?
I don't know. Maybe because Mark Dutrom, however you say his last name, like helped write some of the stuff. So, but I don't know. I mean, the bass player could have played that stuff. Why do you think they didn't play that?
I guess for that reason. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they don't see it as being
their songs.
Maybe as loved, maybe in their canon as well. That album's called Brief Sensuality and Western Violence. And the other one, The Value of Decay. Both of those, I think they're really good records.
Is that the
they're
Melvins as well?
No, so they're both Mark D solo albums.
Right, okay.
But they really evoke this kind of this Atlantic era of Melvins, I think. Yeah. Pretty good. If you're into that period of Melvins, they're worth checking out. But yeah, this is one where like I've always found the songwriting kind of like a bit mystified. But here you actually got the credits in the sleeve of like who wrote each song, like who wrote music, who wrote the lyrics. And so yeah, it's like really apparent that everyone's contributing songs here. And they're also, it's like all over the map in terms of like styles, but they're also recording at different studios. So I think like some of it's recorded in London. Let me have a look in here.
I think Mark lived in London.
Right.
So maybe even like, do you think he even just recorded some of that solo and just submitted it?
Yeah, maybe. I think those little interlude tracks are each one's kind of by someone else or something. Could be wrong.
Yeah, I think I heard that. So yeah, they're at Sound City, A&M Studios, Entourage, Faulkner, Paramount, Kozlovsky Sound Productions, and some stuff at home apparently. So then, sometimes some of these tracks are produced by the band themselves, some of them by Joe Barresi, and some by Garth Richardson.
Garth.
Quite a famous name, I think, in like alternative rock of that era, isn't he? I know he did the Jesus Lizard album when they went to major label.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. I know Joe Barresi does like Tool and I'm not sure what else.
So all of that basically, that's all underpinning all these different sounds on this album. But I mean, other than that, there's not that much information really. Like compared to other albums of the 90s, I think like all the stuff that's written and spoken about, everything, every like little minute thing that's analysed. And Melvin's stuff, they seem to control quite a tight camp.
Right.
They don't let all that bullshit out.
Yeah.
The artwork for the album here and Forevermore by Mackie Osborne, Buzz's wife.
That's good. I quite like it.
Yeah, I really like it. I think
I like the drawings of the members in there. Is really cool.
Yeah. Apparently, well, I looked and there are 4 different versions of this flower. So there's this
really?
deranged flower on the CD. There's a smiley flower on the LP. And then there's another 2 different ones. There's a cassette and there's like a promo cassette.
Right.
So I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun and it's like kind of colourful.
Yeah.
Like the sound of the album makes sense. I don't know what you think, Harry, but I've kind of got to the point where I'm a bit tired of seeing Mackie artwork on Melvin's records.
Yeah, I heard you say that, I think, about the new Buzz solo record in your review. Yeah, I get it. I'm not that into the stuff, but I also understand them trying to... It's just kind of almost like a brand at this point, Like,
yeah,
we do the music, she does the artwork, and it's just kind of like their thing, and they work as a unit, but... A lot of flowers and skulls.
Yeah.
And roses.
I think this and Stoner Witch and Honky are probably like the high point for me of her Melvin's covers.
I like the Bullhead cover. She did that, didn't she?
I think that's before. I don't know who did that. I think that's before her time, isn't it?
Okay.
If she did
Maybe
that, then it's Bullhead.
Yeah, maybe she didn't start that early.
That is the album. Gentlemen, should we go through song by song and just toss off some thoughts?
Sure.
Yeah. I like tossing things off. So let's do it.
And as we go, it'd be nice to know a little bit more about your work, Harry.
Okay.
And we should mention as well, it's not just your solo stuff. You're in a bunch of other bands as well.
Yes.
Orphan Goggles.
Yeah.
They're one that I heard of quite a while ago through Kevin's band Hepatitis.
Did you get that split with us?
I tried to. I haven't been able to get hold of it.
Oh, okay.
It's on my
Yeah,
want
a lot
list.
of people found out about Orphan Goggles through that split with Hepatitis, which is it's good. And then I had a band Fannyland, which is kind of like cutesy funk psychedelic music or something. We did 2 like EPs, I guess, together. And then recently I've been playing drums in this band Skin Tag, which I don't think you know about.
Great name.
It's kind of like short, kind of poppy, like punk songs. Not pop punk that's poppy. And yeah, I guess that's about it.
Nice.
There's been some other
Fanny.
things here and there.
Fanny has a different meaning here in the UK.
A fanny is a front bottom, right?
Yes.
So that's good.
That leads us nicely onto the bit. So album kicks off with the bit. I love this. I think this is like an all-time classic in the Melvins catalog. They play it live a lot, even to this day. I really love that. Like,
do you have a listen?
Oh, let's have a listen. Go on then. I forgot what we were. So yeah, I love that sitar intro, and this is just, what is it, like mid-tempo kind of hard rock track.
Mm-hmm.
Really satisfying. Sam, what did you think of it?
Oh, I liked the sitar. I generally like sitars, which is weird. It reminds me of what was that band in the late 90s who ripped off? They did na 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 na. What were they called?
Cooler Shaker.
Cooler Shaker. That was it. Sometimes I don't even think they actually used a sitar, but in my head they did, and it always kind of puts me off. But I do quite like a nice bit of sitar.
They just used Indian mystic kind of like marketing to make their bland indie Britpop scene more interesting.
I don't
They
know
did,
this
yeah.
band.
No, you don't need to. They basically ripped off like old 60s like psychedelic songs or whatever, and tried to put a bit more distortion on or whatever. But his mum was famous. The front guy's mum was an actress. I can't remember who, like Felicity Campbell.
Hayley Mills. Yeah.
Was it?
He was just a rich kid.
Just a rich kid.
Doing-
But yeah, sorry, really random. Talk about Cooler Shaker on a Melvins Melvins episode. I thought it was all right, to be honest, and I don't want to get
I love that you're not that into it. It makes it more interesting. It's better than if 3 people are like, "Oh, it's so great," you know?
Exactly. It's the best. It's the best song in the world. I quite liked it in a way because I thought it was quite visceral. I like the idea, like, stomp the blood. I like the guitar sound. I think it's got a nice distortion to it. And I've put here, and I can't remember specifically what I'm talking about here. I've put devil backing vocals. I didn't particularly like. Devil backing vocals, yeah. And I'm not sure what I'm referring to because I haven't actually
Do you know
listened
what
to
he's
it.
referring to? Daniel?
But I've put it down. It's a note, so I've obviously thought about it at some point. And yeah, I've put it's quite growly. But for me, it's like borderline metal, and that kind of rubs me up the wrong way a little bit. But it was okay for me.
Harry, you gonna slap him down?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I like the song. I mean, I've gotten tired of it because I wish they didn't play it like all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I wish they would change up their set list a little more than they do. But I mean, it was good. I'm so used to hearing it live. I haven't listened to the studio version in a long time and listened to it. It's a really good song. Yeah, and that intro is really awesome. So
this must have been great when you were driving around listening to it as well.
Yeah,
this is a good driving.
Driving's always better. And you got the full surround sound in your car,
Yeah. Your own little space.
But, it's a strong song. It's a good song.
And then we get something completely different. The track Hide.
I liked this. Let's have a quick listen.
Yeah, what did you like about it?
I like the fact that it was. I mean, it's only a minute or something, isn't it? But it's a nice.
That's what you liked about it. It's only a minute.
I think I got on to the next one quickly. It made the painful process much shorter. No, it wasn't because of the but I liked. No, I was going to say I like the fact that it's a little bit chill and it's a bit zen. It's nice. I like these little bits. It kind of gives the album a bit of texture, a bit more like it's a journey, which I liked.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. And I think it's cool. They've got these kind of like little synthesizer experiments in there. I think this is one of my favorites of those kind of songs because it's just like so kind of eerie. And I like that it's kind of near the beginning of the album. It's kind of mysterious, like, it's beckoning you in.
What do you think, Harry?
Yeah, I like it. My main listening to this stuff was listening as a teenager on my Discman. So
cool.
I really didn't know the names of a lot of songs. I actually ended up printing them out here. And because I always just kept my, booklet in those CD booklet cases, and I'd pop it in and never say the names of the songs. But so to me, this was always kind of an intro to Bar X, the Rocking M. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool song. And yeah, I think just Buzz made this one.
Okay.
But yeah, it's cool. It's chill. I dig it.
But like you say, yeah, it's kind of an interlude or like a segue into Bar X, the Rocking M. I'm glad you said that first because I've never actually been sure if that's what it is. I mean, it's like bar, and then there's like a line and an X and another line.
That's what I say. Bar X, the Rocking M.
That's what I read it as. But I wanna know, Dan, what you were thinking it was. I want to hear some of the alternatives.
Dan, I want to know what you think is the meaning behind that title.
Well, for the last 20 years, I've been kind of like, is it Barks, the Rocking M? Or is that meant to be like bar multiply the rocking?
Yeah, that's funny. It could be that bar times the Rocking M. It's a math equation.
Yeah.
Is it Judi Dench headbanging in a rock bar?
The Rocking M.
Yeah, she was M in James Bond, wasn't she?
Yeah,
no, not that.
Yeah, she.
96.
Fuck knows what it means.
Judi Dench was still M in 96.
Yeah.
It's like bar kiss. Still kiss.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's Buzz blowing us a kiss.
No kisses. Bar X. Bar it.
I've never had a clue. I've never tried to decipher. To be honest, I've never tried to decipher any of the Melvins lyrics. They kind of feel like they're there for the general vibe. Absolutely. But this one especially seems so, it's designed to be cryptic and frustrating, I think.
Yeah. Should we give it a listen?
Let's do it. Harry, let's start with you. What did you think?
I think it's a great song. The highlight for me is probably the horned instrument solo. I don't know if it's a sax or a trombone or whatever it is, but it's a good solo. It works. It seems in key and thought out, but it's also just really like ridiculous and stupid and noisy, especially then where it's like it's getting lower and it's like so I think live just Dale does those sounds
With his mouth.
because in a live at the Fucker Club, that's what he's doing.
And how does that sound, Harry?
I don't like it that much. I'd rather them just not do that. Or maybe Buzz try and do like a noisy solo since there's no horn player.
Can you give us a demonstration so people can enjoy it at home?
It's beautiful.
I mean, that would be...
But yeah, I mean, and then, when I heard this when I was younger, and now I know it's Buzz scratching his strings, but I thought it had turntables in it, which I thought was so cool. I was like, yeah, they have like horns and turntables. Like, this is like so cool, they're just incorporating everything. And But to me, I never thought of it as like random or being goofy. But I suppose maybe it's some of that too.
Yeah, I just think all that stuff is incorporated really well. I just think it rocks really hard. I really like it. I put down those scratching noise as well. I always thought that was like a classic, like mid-90s, like turntable scratch.
Yes. Some Limp
And there's like a
Bizkit
weird
shit.
wobble board noise in there as well. Something kind of goes whoop, whoop, whoop. Just a
there
nice
is.
little touch.
I'm gonna bring
Sam's
this party
gonna rain
down.
on our parade.
Yeah, I want to hear some criticism of this song.
I'm just silently waiting to crush everyone's enthusiasm. So I thought this. If I had played this song, if you'd played this song to me, I would have thought it was a joke. I was like, why have they got a farty trumpet in my notes? Even worse, they've got some DJ / Tom Morello scratching.
Tom Morello, yeah.
I've put this. Is this a trumpet solo I'm listening to? And then I've ended it with I'm not really sure what's happening. So it's definitely one of the more experimental tracks of the album. I felt like, yeah, how
Kind of the
weird.
most ridiculous, maybe.
Huh?
It's kind of the most ridiculous, maybe.
Yeah. To be honest, anything that has a trumpet in, I'm going to be dubious about. I'm going to start getting flashbacks to like ska punk or something.
Some Mighty Boss Stones.
Yeah, exactly. Who we were talking about the other day. Me and Dan talked about. Yeah, there's an element of that. It kind of like sends shivers down my spine a little bit. And at least it's not that. But yeah, it was interesting to hear you guys talk about your love for it.
It's interesting to hear you guys talk about it positively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah,
But
those were my
it's
impressions.
interesting. I feel like this album flows well, but I was interested in doing homework for this, and I was looking up like comments like on Amazon or something from people, and one person was just like, "Yeah, this just seems like random and like jokey, and I don't get the sense of humor." And I think people can look at it that way, like,
Yeah.
this is kind of like a wank or something, or or this is actually like thought out and And I feel like with Melvin stuff, sometimes it seems like they do just some noisy stuff that doesn't really flow, and then some stuff like this, I feel like it does. But I'm sure to Buzz, it all flows, you know. I don't know what he's trying to do.
Yeah, fair enough.
Next up, we have Jakob's Lab. So this is another one of those kind of little instrumental.
I can't remember
interludes.
what this one sounds like.
This one's kind of like more creepy.
I know. It's kind of. I can hear it now.
It's kind
Maybe
of
like a door opening in a haunted house or something.
Well, I mean, it does sound like a laboratory. I think there's like something. Yeah, it's kind of like a horror soundtrack kind of thing.
According to Wikipedia, this one was made by Deuterum.
Okay, maybe this was what he brewed up in his like London studio.
Yeah, I quite like this one again. Like it's another little chill bit, another little come down, because especially after that last song, which is a bit like manic. And I've put it that I like the distortion that's kind of going on in the back. But yeah, I do like it, like when songs have that, like, I keep using the word texture, I'm overusing it, but just have that kind of layering, and there's like, it feels big even though it's not, if that makes sense. But I like these little noise interludes. They're nice.
Yeah. Now that I remember, it's kind of eerie. And then, like, to me, listening to this, I think of it too, just kind of like an intro to the Bloat, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So let's have a bit of Bloat. Yeah, Harry, do you want to give us the skinny on the Bloat?
The Bloat's awesome. I think it's a really interesting composition. It's got that kind of. I'm like having to imagine the songs in my head, but it's got kind of that wandering, long, kind of like chill intro, kind of. I mean, it's heavy. It's with, distortion guitars, but it's kind of flowing along. And then it stops and just does that really cool bass line, And then just seemingly random Buzz lyrics, but that also, just like catching your head, the give me 46, give me 45. That's definitely one of my favorite songs on here. It's a super cool song. I like it.
Likewise. Yeah, I like that first half. It feels like really like big, kind of frazzled rock riff, and then like it kind of feels like it would have fit onto like Stoner Witch in that way. And then halfway through, it kind of shifts to something a bit more experimental, kind of like stuff from Houdini, like Hag Me or something, where suddenly all that's gone and it's just that like really sparse kind of like just rhythm, and like you say, Buzz's voice, and like Dale's got a really strange kind of drum sound on here. There's this like weird thwack kind of noise. I don't know if it's like I don't know what it is actually, if it's like a hi-hat that's been distorted or something.
Right.
It sounds quite unpleasant actually. It sounds quite like unsavory, as if someone's being spanked or something. Spanked in the studio.
Some bloated man or woman being spanked.
But like the sounds that are in this, and like you said, Harry, like the composition of there's that big part, and then there's this kind of like second half that's kind of a little bit more, I don't know, less rocking, less accessible, I suppose. Really, again, like strange, kind of like a distortion then of what it feels like it could be a rock classic when it starts, and then it definitely doesn't feel like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
I love it.
I quite like some of the, got some slide guitar in there, it sounds like. And there's this like nice little, what sounds like a bit of a jam, which is quite cool. I wasn't a big fan of the end of it, I guess, like the kind of lyrics over what's almost like that near silence is a bit like meh, but but yeah, this was okay. This was kind of one of the ones I was okay with, but I think there's some better tracks on here.
Well, maybe one of those is coming up. I fancy that you might take a liking to Tipping the Lion.
How would you tip a lion, Dan? How much?
Healthily, yeah. I give him just enough not to perturb him.
What's it? Because LA, right, Harry? You got to like tip like 50% or something, haven't you? That's like the standard.
Oh, for tipping like at a restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh.
And when you're at a zoo, you have to tip the animals.
The San Diego Zoo is pretty cool.
Yeah?
It's, I think, one of the biggest in the world.
Nice.
And
that's where that's where Pet Sounds was. The cover photo was taken.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
touching up the goat. The alternative title:
Tipping the Lion and Touching Up the Goat. To a fine split 7-inch single from the Melvins and the Beach Boys. I've never thought of that, Sam. I've always just thought it meant like tipping a lion, like you tip a cow.
Yeah.
Because these guys, they've also got a song called Punch the Lion.
Oh, what
that the hell? On? It's on Prick.
Oh, okay. I never really listened to that album.
No, me neither. Doesn't bear up to repeated listens. That's like their really super experimental, avant-garde, dicking around album. So.
Yeah, so that one just seems like dicking around to me.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, this is like really takes a turn right into something a bit lighter, laid back, kind of hazy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a little bit of like psychedelia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dare I ask, Sam?
Did I like it? I did. I liked it. I think this at this point, this was one of like going forward. This was the first track I was like, I'm digging this. There's some really like funky bass going on, and I think this is the first instance, and then it starts happening, I think, more and more in the album. It's just like I really like what the drums are doing here. But yeah, it just sounds very different. It feels like gentle, but like there's some underlying tension kind of going on. Like there's something just bubbling gently beneath the surface or something, which is quite cool. And then that chorus happens. And then there's some cool guitar bits, and there's some really great drumming towards the end as well. So I like this one. One of the better ones, I'd say.
I guess they agree because they keep it in their set, I think.
Right.
It pops up on a lot of set lists over the years.
Yeah, well, I can see why. It's good. It's nice.
Do you like it, Harry?
I do like it, yeah. It's pretty cool. Does this have like keys in it, or is that just his guitar at the beginning?
I don't know. Go back and
I've
listen.
never thought about it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I like the weird like lead guitar solo stuff. You know, it's kind of bizarre, and I like that. You know, they back the distortion back a little bit. Like it's heavy, but it's not really. They're not really like trying to write a heavy song, kind of. And then the end's really rad with like the drums getting really heavy, and it's got some more turntables in there.
Just what you always want from a Melvins album, I imagine.
This is when they were taking advice from Beck.
Really? I'd love that.
Buzz is in a Beck video. Have you seen that? I think it's Beer
Yeah,
Can.
he is, isn't he?
Yeah,
Scientologist, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I think his dad was a Scientologist.
Oh, right. There you go. Makes sense. They've got something on his dad, and he now has to carry that burden forever.
Sins visited upon the son.
Yeah, exactly.
So then there's quite a nice, I like this, tipping the line into a song that's kind of in a similar psyche, hazy vibe, Black Bog. Let's hear it.
I cut the throat of a billy goat and let it bleed. His frozen eyes were far more than I. It's kinda nice to know the things that make me happy. Just realize.
Sam, give me the good news.
It's a strange song. I enjoy like the niceness of it, even though it's quite evil, obviously lyrically, and that, you know, those two kind of opposites. There's all the satanic stuff behind it about sacrificing goats, opening heaven and power or whatever, and all this. I like the fact it's quite swishy and 60s. But yeah, it's a really weird, strange, different song, which I suppose is part of the magic of this album, right?
Yeah, I love it for all those reasons as well. I think like this must have been such a departure. I don't think there's anything they'd recorded up until this point that was quite like this. So I can see that this would have pissed off a lot of fans.
Right.
But yeah, I really like that as well. That kind of thing of it's so sweet and lovely, and there's these horrible lyrics about this guy like singing about it's nice to know what makes me happy, slitting the throat of a billy goat.
Yeah.
And
They're
is that
having
Dale
fun.
singing this one?
Oh, is it?
It
I
is?
don't know. What do you think, Harry? Who sings this?
I think it's Buzz singing it,
Oh, it's Buzz.
but I don't know.
It's got such a
Well, it
lovely,
says on-
clear tone on this one.
Yeah. Who knows? It says words and music, Buzz, but he could have written the words and then someone else sang it. I don't know.
It just sounds like a more youthful voice.
Yeah. I don't
Maybe
really
he
know,
sold
I don't
his
really know
soul.
what Dale sounds like when he sings, so I can't really say.
Have you not listened to any of his stuff?
Oh, yeah, actually recently I checked out some of his solo albums, but I can't make a connection.
Ah, shame. He's got that other band as well, Altamont.
Altamont. I never
It's like
listened
a
to
bit
them
more-
either. Is
It's
that
a bit more
stuff
of just
good?
like a straight up rock. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I prefer his like weirder stuff. I quite like the solo album he did. But yeah, anyway, what did you think of Black Bog?
I like it. It's kind of it's really cute and kind of childlike, I thought. Like that little intro and and then I think the end's really cool and it gets like kind of dreamy and the vocals are really like lush. And then yeah, the juxtaposition with like the lyrics and then kind of the cute sounding song I think is really cool.
This
I like it.
kind of made me think of some of your stuff. especially Momo Island and School.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
They've got that kind of hazy, summery kind of vibe. It's like some cutesy sounds. There's a vocal technique that you employ on some of your songs, which I think when I was like talking about it on my video, I said it kind of reminds me of David Lynch. Like when he sings like in that quite a high pitched kind of almost like a squeak.
Yeah.
I haven't really listened to his stuff.
Oh, you should. You must.
I heard that song he did with Karen O, Pinky or whatever.
Yeah, that's all right.
Then,
I think there's better ones.
Having a good day today. Is that one?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a couple.
Crazy Clown Time's good. That as a track.
Yeah,
I really like that song.
Yeah, I really like the Lynch albums. I like anything Lynch does. I'm a bit of a fanboy for Lynch generally, but I can see that. I have to say, Harry, I enjoyed listening to your album more than I liked listening to Stag.
Well, it is better.
Well, there is that exactly. So it's quite funny, like going through all this, and I was thinking, I'd rather have just reviewed your album and listened to that like multiple times, rather than Stag. Do you think as well, like this song was going to be called Black Cock?
Black Cock.
They were like, we can't put that on the back. We're not allowed.
I don't know. I feel like if they wanted to name it that maybe they would have.
Yeah. It's only one letter out. It's, it's about,
Yeah.
Something.
Black Bach. Yeah, what is a Bach?
I don't know.
I was going to ask you guys this because I've got a theory, because I went to the Torture Museum in Prague.
Oh, I think I've been there too.
Oh, have you?
Every time I go to European cities, I try and find the Sex Museum and the Torture Museum. And they go kind of hand in hand a little bit.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about culture, how they torture their...
and yourself.
Torture their people. And attend to their needs.
Do you find yourself in like Torture Garden or something, or some like weird sex club, and you're like, well, hold on, I wanted the museum. I didn't want to...
I didn't go to a club, just the museums. They had like toilets where there's like a place for you to put your head, underneath.
Brilliant.
And shat on and stuff.
Brilliant. Did you do that? Did you take part?
I didn't do that, but I bought one and tried it out with my girlfriend later.
Look, honey. Look what I've got.
It's a birthday present.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you wanted, right? Oh.
Where's my red London double-decker bus model?
No, you don't want that. It's no fun. There's no shit involved in that. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, the Bok in the Prague Torture Museum is like this big... It's like a pyramid that's had the top kind of cut off slightly, so it's not quite that pointy. And they just put someone on it and leave them to die. And gravity and their own weight would force them down and force the spike up their asshole until it eventually just...
it's like a house roof or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like a triangle, and then they just sit on it. Yeah. I remember seeing that.
Wait, hold on.
It's rough. I mean, a lot of the torture stuff has to do with putting stuff up your asshole or fucking with your genitals, impaling. Really, that's around that area a lot.
Just got to get this straight in my head. So you've got a pyramid. How big is this pyramid?
It's not like the pyramids of Giza. It's like,
what's it called? What's a 3D triangle? What do they call it?
A pyramid.
Is it actually called a pyramid? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 6 foot, maybe.
6 foot? So you've got a 6 foot pyramid, and you've got to get to and they put you at the top of this 6 foot.
But some of them are like pyramids, and then some are just like two-sided, right? I think I saw one that was just two-sided. It's not quite as
better.
Drastically painful, but if you sit on it long enough, it starts getting pretty rough.
Do you think they talk about it afterwards?
That would take like months.
Do you think they
take months to burrow into your pelvis?
Do you see the one where you get inside like an iron cowl, and then they just like burn it from the bottom, and you just crawl around in there trying to get away from the hot ground, but you're
Oh my
stuck.
God.
Christ.
Can you believe people used to do that to each other? It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so entertaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Yeah, forget about. We don't. I'm not saying capital punishment. That's horrible. Just bring back the torture. Don't have to kill them.
Yeah. Public torture, you know, that's what we need now.
Yeah,
We
killing
need
them's
an
just horrible.
uplifting thing to watch.
Zoom torture.
I'm sure we can think of more ways how we can torture people through their arsehole. I'm sure there are more inventive, futuristic, technological.
That'd be a good job to have, you know,
Yeah.
figuring out the best way to torture people.
Yeah, they'll be like, they would have done the research. Here's where all the the anal pain points are. Let's take full advantage of it. But the old ways are always the best, aren't they?
Yeah, when you're doing a bit of torturing, and you're getting someone on the block,
Straight back in. Yeah.
it's recommended to use a pair of goggles.
Did they say that in the museum?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Safety first.
His
So,
blood starts
how's that for a
splattering
segue,
into your
guys?
eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good segue. All right, let's have a listen.
I've said goggles intense but airy. This one, like, it kind of reminds me of.
You speaking English? What was that sentence?
It's intense. It's really intense. I think.
Okay.
But it's kind of. It's like airy. It's all like swishy and swashy. It makes me think of like Throbbing Gristle. And this one, I think it kind of points the way to. They do a lot more of this kind of stuff on the next album on Honky. I see a lot of people talking about Goggles like it's like most evil song in the Melvins catalog, and it's like really heavy and horrible. I don't know. It's never quite resonated with me. I never quite got it. I find it kind of a bit terrifying, actually.
You know, I kind of don't. I think, is this the one where they have the drums? It's kind of like flat and way in the background or something, or not in the background, but I think I get this one and Sterilized are kind of similar, right?
Yeah, this one it's mixed strangely. This one, Goggles,
Like the hi hat's really loud or something. I don't know.
That's right.
yeah.
It's that one. That's what I've got here. I've put all I hear is that hi hat, and I just think it's just mixed, really weird, and like the whispering is like
Does this
feels
have
way too
the
close.
screaming in it?
Yeah, distorted scream, which I don't actually mind, but I just feel like it.
That's pretty cool.
It just like thins everything else out. I don't know. I've put here as well, like it sounds almost live, which I don't know. Maybe it was like recorded as live, but yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this one, I have to say.
I kind of like that it's there, giving another, side to the album, but it's not a side that I necessarily want to hear.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's cool, and they're definitely. This one, it's experimental record, and this one they're experimenting with the mixing and stuff. I mean, they're obviously putting things in the forefront that you don't traditionally do.
Yeah.
And kind of turning everything on its head.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I didn't really think of it. I didn't really think of it as like experimenting with the mix more than it's just, I was like, is this just trying to be different for the sake of being different? But I guess, yeah, I don't know.
It is interesting to think how this song would turn out if they had just mixed it normally, like the bit or bar X or something, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder if it would really fucking slay, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Next up, Soup.
Yummy.
This is a this is what comes out after a session on the Bach. This is a fun little ditty, isn't it?
This is my least favorite song on the album. This is the only one that I can skip through.
Right. Yeah,
Sam?
I've put 2.5 minutes of wank.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like literally drops in soup, but with a kind of weird sci-fi synth in the background and little plops, like it's an alien spacecraft experiment. And then at the end of it, I've put yawn, like a review.
What? Yawn.
Whatever.
That's what makes it brilliant.
Brilliant. Here we go.
If you think this is wank, then I eat wank for breakfast. I
but you
eat
do.
wank soup.
Why are you saying it like that's a surprise to me? I've seen you do it.
We all know what's in that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I've always loved this one. I find it really creepy as well. Like the melody's creepy, and then it's on this shrill kind of like, you know, it's like dum 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 dum.
Yeah, I forgot about that
then-
part. I was just
then
remembering
it's
it
like-
as being just noisy. Or not
There you
noisy,
go.
just the plops.
Hi, I'm comedian Katherine Ryan, and if you listen to my podcast, Telling Everybody Everything, you'll know that I'm a lover, a mother, and a wine activist. Lucky for me, then, that Tempest 2 offers a distinctively bold, huge range of wines that taste as good as they look, perfectly paired for any occasion, the epitome of Australian style. Try yours with a friend now from any selected Waitrose or Sainsbury's stores. Pour yourself a glass and enjoy a moment of elegance while you pop on Telling Everybody Everything with Tempest 2.
Now TV are ready to entertain you this Christmas. Stream the latest and best blockbusters with a Now TV Sky Cinema Pass. Get the family together for Dolittle and Last Christmas. Enjoy seasonal classics like Love Actually. And rediscover your favourite heroes with the Indiana Jones and Harry Potter collections. Stream all these and more with a 7-day free trial. Only on Now TV. 18 plus UK only. New cinema customers only. Pass auto renews at $11.99 a month unless cancelled. Terms apply.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the little melody is cool.
Yeah, it sounds like something from like an old music box, and then like, you've been locked in some like weirdo's house, and they're playing that, and you can hear them boiling up some like disgusting soup in the background.
Okay, well, all right, that's one angle.
But I like how those plops and drips provide like the rhythm for the track as well. I thought that was quite cool. But yeah, I just always liked it.
I wonder how they made those sounds. Do you think he's hitting on some drums and then they put like these filters through it or whatever?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I wondered if it was
Probably.
just some synth. Just had a plop thing on the synth. They're just going plop, plop, plop.
Hit the plop button.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, then we get, this is a really good one.
Yeah. This is my favorite
Buck
track on the album.
Owens.
Yeah, Buck Owens. Let's do it.
Yeah, tell us about it, Harry.
Yeah, this one was always my favorite. It's really kind of like metal, more than the other stuff, I feel like. Maybe their most metal song to me. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the parts. I think the drums are really cool. That part where it's kind of got the talking over it.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 and the drums are going off. And then it kind of has that cool, like, pretty build up. And then it kind of like climaxes.
Yeah.
I really like it. I think his singing's cool.
I think it's a good song as well to have at this point in the album. It's like, I found it quite welcome just to have something more like straight up hard rock metal kind of song. And I kind of thought there's like a little bit of like a country twang in a few places.
Okay.
I wondered if that's why they called it Buck Owens.
Okay, maybe.
Doesn't seem to be any other reason. Like, it's just randomly called Buck Owens.
Is there any reason why any of these are named these names?
Yeah.
It's true. Maybe it was the full name of Uncle Buck, and he's just a big John Candy fan. That's it. I really like. This is probably my favorite song off this album as well. Great drumming and a great bass line as well. And I like the way it has that like kind of scratchy guitar and then into these like big open chords. It feels really, really rocky. And the slow bit's nice. And yeah, where it goes near the end, it all gets a bit manic. I thought it was great. I was interested in, I think the verse sounds a bit like, and Dan's going to hate me for this. I was like, this sounds like the verse from Coal Chamber, Loco. Whatever it is.
One of my all-time least favourite songs.
Exactly. It's weird if Dan likes this.
I wonder if I've heard that song. I know Coal Chamber was kind of in that like new metal genre, right? Or something like that.
It's very much that. That Loco was there. They had two, like, if you want to call them hit singles, but Coal Chamber, Loco was the big one. And I was like, yeah, it sounds also like, do you remember Mudvayne?
Vaguely.
You can feel my anger, you can feel my pain. No, that's not Mudvayne. That's what band is that? I can't think. Anyway,
I don't know.
Mudvayne, and then I was thinking of Orgy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mudvayne they were like
Orgy.
They had loads of makeup on.
Yeah.
And I always remember the Mudvayne music video because it was played like constantly over here on MTV2. And they had like the guitarist was some really like fat, like some fat geeky guy who they painted like he was wearing like a red outfit and he had this big red chubby face with these like little horns on. He was just standing there. And I was like, that guy, there's just no way that guy could ever look cool. Even painted up like the devil. He just still looks like some fat nerd who's just learned how to play like guitar or something, this little chubby kid. The first, I was like, oh, it reminds me of that. Bit of that, bit of Coal Chamber Mudvayne verse going on. I wonder if Dan will like this. After he's saying he hates Coal Chamber so much.
Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't.
Speaking of, like, was nu metal a big thing in the UK too? Like Korn and Limp Bizkit, Deftones.
Yeah, definitely. That was me and Dan were like,
Limp Bizkit's still kind of cool in Europe, but not in the US.
No, Limp Bizkit was like, I don't know how it was in America, but they quickly. They were kind of big here. They were big here, actually. But yeah, all the kind of like new metal fans, I feel like jumped off pretty quick after $3 bill, y'all, or whatever, or whatever it was called.
Chocolate Starfish was a pretty big album here.
Yeah, yes, it was.
And the hot dog flavored water.
Yeah, it's a bit stupid, but all that kind of like rolling and break stuff or whatever. It was still big here, but not as big as it was. It wasn't as big as it was in America. Like America, like it felt like Limp Bizkit were much bigger than they were here. I mean, none of these bands were like massive here. We were still going through fucking Spice Girls or whatever the fuck was going on. I don't know. That was still like dominating. It's just, within like the metal scene, Limp Bizkit, I wouldn't say were kind of favoured at all. Like Korn and all that stuff. Deftones, definitely. Yeah.
Isn't there, Harry, is there a bit of Korn sampled in one of your songs?
It is it's my Aerosmith cover, Janie's Got a Gun. It's actually got Max Cavalera from Sepultura, Jonathan Davis, Korn, and then there's also Fred Durst.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I thought I recognised it. It completely bewildered me.
That was kind of like because I was really into Korn like when I was like 13, and I still like some of that Sepultura stuff, and it was just kind of, I don't know, it just came to mind. I thought it'd be funny and ridiculous. Just throw those like hype moments in before the chorus.
Yeah. I still like Korn. Like me and Dan, we did a thing, this time last year, and it was like looking at like tracks of 2019 or whatever. And that Korn album was on it. I can't remember what it's called now, but I really enjoyed it still. I felt, I don't know if you listened to it.
Which one?
Like literally their latest one. I'm trying to find out.
Oh, okay. I know they did a, God damn it.
The Nothing, it was called. It was literally released, end of last year. And I really liked it. It felt like it wasn't trying, it's like with a lot of these new metal bands where it's like they're trying to emulate what they did and it feels weird. It feels like they become a parody of themselves. Whereas when I listened to this album, I was like, this sounds like an actual Korn album that's released like in their heyday rather than something that's a bit of a parody of itself, if that makes sense. But, yeah, it's worth checking out if you're into Korn. It was a nice little, retro thing that still felt quite fresh. It's worth digging out.
Yeah, I'll check it out. They did an Alice in Chains cover on that thing the other night I was telling you about. And,
oh, really?
it was pretty good. Yeah, I was like, Korn's still kind of sick.
Yeah, yeah, they are. They still look exactly the same.
I know the Melvins are really into like new metal and stuff, so maybe they were trying to.
Well, look, I've got here. Check this out.
For that.
I've got here, and this is no fucking word of a lie, because I've just brought up the Wikipedia for the Nothing album, and it was partly recorded in Buck Owens' studio in Bakersfield, California. It says here.
See, it all circles around,
Wow.
How about that? That's mad. That is crazy.
Bakersfield. Bakerfield is a huge shithole, just so you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's where they're from, isn't it? Cool.
Place to
I always remember
smoke
them
meth and hate your life.
And record new metal albums. Well, it's called The Nothing.
We should put the first Korn album on our list of stuff to do.
Can I join, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally love that first album.
It's Daddy. Is there any song more brutal than Daddy? 5 minutes of him crying at the end.
I know. That is horrific to listen to.
Shit's hardcore.
Yeah. It was also weird, the idea like with Faggot as well, where you're just like screaming Faggot
awesome
as well.
Song,
but at the time, I just remember thinking, I know it's like, it's not a homophobic song. In fact, it's the opposite.
Well, it's about people calling him like faggot in school or something, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's
thought.
Right. But it's just like, obviously, it's just got that bit where he's just screaming faggot. And it's like, in my car as a teenager, like whatever.
It's a pretty funny album. I mean, like Chutes and Ladders, like how ridiculous. Knick knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
Yeah, I loved it. I still love it. I still listen to it every now and then.
That's when he was like, that was all fresh, and he felt like he was on top of all of that, kind of his vocal style. And then everything after that felt like it's just we're just going to beat this into the ground now, and it became a bit silly.
I thought Life is Peachy was pretty good. I really just like those first two ones.
Yeah, I don't mind. I still like Follow the Leader stuff, like which is
some Follow the Leader stuff's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to have to stop Korn loving.
Yeah.
Let's just segue into a self-titled Korn.
We've still got 6 songs to go.
Right.
Sterilized.
Let's have a listen. I like the reverb. I've put that sounds a little bit Joy Division-ish, and as you know, I love a bit of Joy Division. I like the fact that, again, and I've put here, God, I keep using the word textured. Fuck off, Sam. Bit textured. What does that actually mean? But that whining noise in the background is nice. So I quite like this one. It was weird, but it's a bit different. But I was like, yeah, it's just something I like. Sure.
High praise from you. What do you think, Harry?
You know, I maybe should have made some notes because I'm blanking on how Sterilized and Lacrimosa go.
Yeah, these two always kind of just wash over me.
I know one of them is kind of has that weird mix thing like on Goggles, right?
I think that's Lacrimosa.
Oh, okay.
Because I nodded off earlier, and the drums from Lacrimosa came on and woke me up, and I was fucking like terrified. What the hell is going on? I thought I was under attack. It's so in your face. Should we just go on to Lacrimosa?
Lacrimosa,
Sure.
moving straight on.
Yeah, that's it. It's just another one of these like brutal, in your face, kind of like ridiculously mixed songs. But yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty cool. It's an interesting sound. There aren't many other songs like this, right? But it's not very palatable sound.
Yeah. What did you think, Harry?
I think I'm hearing it in my head. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Or I don't know, maybe I'm still hearing Goggles in my head. I apologize. I should have written something down. Can't fucking remember. This.
That stands for.
But I do know how the rest of the 4 songs go.
Okay, good.
If they don't make an impact, then we just have to gloss over them.
What we're talking about anyway. Sorry, Melvins. Sorry, Buzz. I've put here, I like the way it blends in, and it feels like I'm high. I'm being lulled to sleep or something. So yeah, I think I liked this one, I guess. Sounds like it. Sounds like I did.
An unexpected result.
He's starting to warm up to the album a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The second half of the album, I liked a lot more than the first half. So, yeah, I guess we'll kind of go on to Skin Horse then, shall we?
God plays the battlefront, though bastardly. Follow said criminal in the palm of his hand. He'll chance the overload when it's all about the end. Maybe.
So did this keep the pattern going, Sam? The uninterrupted run of good songs?
Yeah, for me, this was like quite more of a radio-friendly song, I guess. And again, there's some great drumming here. And yeah, when it like quietens back down, it's got these like really nice sounds. And then the pitch changes and it's a bit weird, but I actually quite like that. So yeah, I quite liked this experimental. I think when it, I don't know, like as I'm looking back at this, I think when it's moving away from the more metal stuff, I like it more. It's when it goes too metally that it kind of, don't know, get a bit funny about it. But yeah, I think I seem to quite like this one.
I think this is like a fan favourite.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm always one to follow the masses, so.
Yeah, Harry, do you like it?
I do. This is another one of my favorite songs on here. Yeah, really cool drumming. It's really kind of epic and like triumphant, you know, kind of like this build-up thing going on. I could do without the second half, to be honest. Once it goes to that part, it's just kind of silly and almost kind of, I don't know, like takes a really good song and kind of just gets, I don't know, poops on it or something. So once it gets to that part, I can just skip to the next song.
Yeah.
I like the second half. It's kind of got that lullaby thing, but I do find the vocals too much, like the processed vocal.
Right.
and I much prefer it when they just do it live and Buzz just sings it straight. There's a good version that they did this on the
Didn't they do this with
Millennium
Phantomas?
Monsterwork.
Yeah. But they
That's
just
a pretty
do the
good
second
version.
half.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They do this on what? Sorry, Munson Musk.
The Phantomas Melvins big band. It's they did some Phantomas songs and some Melvins songs, and Mike Patton would sing.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the tracks they did.
one. Yeah. But only the bit you didn't like.
Yeah.
Huh?
Only the bit you didn't
Yeah,
like.
exactly. Yeah. So Mike Patton could do weird vocal stuff. So
Do you like Mike Patton?
he's okay. Phantomas, I think, is incredible, and that was pretty influential to me. Like when I first heard the first Phantomas, I bought it because I was a Melvins fan. I was like freshman or sophomore in college, and at the time, I'd never really heard. I wasn't listening to a lot of like experimental music on that level, and I remember hearing it and just thinking it was just a wank album, just a bunch of random shit noise, and then I didn't get it, and then I saw it live, and I was like, oh wow, this is serious, this is orchestrated, the vocals are nuts, Mike Patton's nuts, and it really like blew my mind. And I like some Bungle stuff. That new Bungle, I don't like at all. I never got into Faith No More. I really just like Phantomas. I think he's a cool guy. I'm glad he's around doing shit, you know.
You're a big Mike Patton fan, aren't you, Dan?
I like Phantomas, and I really like I like the later Mr. Bungle stuff. And this new Mr. Bungle album is basically like a re-recording of their first ever demo. So it's quite death metal-y.
It's kind of
So,
generic, you know.
Yeah, I hasn't really grabbed me. But I like a lot of his. Faith No More, I kind of like some of it, but a lot of it's so cheesy.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of his other projects, like Maldora, and like noise stuff. And
Maldora is like the coolest CD packaging, I think.
Oh, really? What's that?
I haven't got it. I've only got it.
It looks kind of like
downloaded.
women's pantyhose and like opens up, and I can't remember. I had it a long time ago, and I think I lost it or it got stolen or something. I just remember it being really cool. It was like pink.
Did some pervert?
That
Did some
was
perverts do
Mike
it?
Patton with. That was Mike Patton with Merzbow. Is that what that was?
Yeah. Who isn't an artist that I necessarily really like all that much, but I don't know. I found that a little bit more easy to enjoy. Easy listening noise.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember what it sounds like.
Yeah, I only really think of Mike Patton as Faith No More, really, and it's kind of give or take it a bit. But yeah, I remember mainly my Mike Patton news or appreciation comes through you, Dan, I suppose, more than anything. You were big into Faith No More, if I remember rightly. Right, weren't you?
Not really, no.
Oh.
I got into his other stuff, and then I kind of went back and got a few of the later albums, but there's stuff on there that I don't like.
Right.
Yeah, they're okay. Sometimes it's a little bit cheesy with all those keyboards and things.
Yeah, I always remember the music video that was off Vertigo. Vertigo is one of my favourite films.
Last Cup of Sorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great video.
That's played to death, but yeah, I always used to enjoy watching it. Yeah, sorry. Should we move on to Captain Pungent? Dan, this was your nickname at school, wasn't it?
You fucker. You said you'd never share that information with anyone.
Everyone was like, you sure he doesn't eat meat? I was like, no. smells like it.
Yeah, what did you make of this? I'm a big fan of this one and the next track, but Bertha's. Should we handle them together actually? Because one runs into the other. I kind of see them as like a suite.
Sure. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Yeah. Take the floor.
Well, I've put Captain Pungent, but meh. It's a bit,
oh man,
it's a bit blur. I like the kind of weird effects that go on near the end, but I didn't really dig it. And then Berthas, which is the one it goes straight into, is a bit better. I thought, but it's okay. I prefer the voice here rather than the death metal sounding singing. So yeah, it hasn't really done much for me, but it seems to be all right. The impression I was left with. But you guys,
this makes me very sad.
Doesn't it?
I love Bertha's. I think Captain Pungent works best as well in the context of like running into Bertha's, and then it's just such a like upbeat song, and it's just like rocking really hard. The drumming towards the end's great. All those like rhythmic changes and like playing off of like the drum will play a little riff, and then like the bass will respond and then play again. It just sounds like I don't know, just like really vibrant kind of song, but also, you know, they're not mucking about anymore. It's just like straight up a rock song to kind of like give you a satisfying end to the album.
Yeah, nice. What do you think, Harry?
Captain Pungent's okay. I don't know what else I have to say about it. I really like Bertha's. It's really cool. I wish Melvins would do more stuff like this with Buzz singing in that voice. And it's really just like a cool riff. And even the way he's like strumming it is just really kind of like chill almost. And it's just got this kind of like, it's like rocking, but it's like relaxed, you know? So it's one of my favorite songs on here. I like it a lot.
Nice. Dan, what was that?
Think it would have...
Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
What was that children's program about that
I knew
machine?
you were going to say this. I knew you were going to say Yeah, so in the UK in the 80s, we had a kids' TV show called Bertha.
Yeah.
Bertha, lovely Bertha. I sometimes think you're a dream.
That's actually how it went.
It was about a bloody, like a machine in a factory, a production plant. And they managed to get like a whole children's series out of that. Like every episode it would break and someone had to fix it. And that was like the main drama and action.
It's the shittest idea for a TV show.
Sounds weird.
It is weird. It was always just like you put some bits in and she'll turn it into like a fucking spaceship or something. I don't know, but like only within the confines of like a small box. It was something really
great
stupid.
Show.
But yeah, there was. She always had like a smile on her face, didn't she? It wasn't a great show. It was awful. I feel like it was on like all the time.
Great show.
God.
I mean, I haven't watched it since 1987, probably, but I'm willing to stake my name on it being a great show.
Jesus. Apparently, it was only 13 episodes. Can you believe that? Just 13.
Burned brightly.
Did burn brightly. It felt like it was about 100. Yeah, but that was good. So when I saw Bertha's, yeah, I imagined it. Imagine this. I'm just looking at a picture of it. So fucking stupid.
If there's only 13 episodes, it would be easy to cover on the show, right?
Oh, fuck off. Not watching fucking Bertha on the show.
Shouldn't have brought it up then.
What? No, all right.
Anyway, look, Bertha's, I think it would have been a good close to the album, but then we get this kind of like little epilogue, I suppose, of Cottonmouth. So yeah, let's have a little listen to that. What do you think?
Well, I was listening to it on Spotify and there was 3.5 minutes of silence. So I was like,
that was it?
I was like, It's just a secret track. And then something seemed to come in that was like slowed down. And actually, I didn't mind it. I thought it felt quite nice and warm. And I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, am I listening to the right thing? Is my Spotify crashed or something? Weird. Is it
Terrible.
Is it a secret track, or is there? Did I miss something?
No, it's just the last song on the album. You missed. Oh my god, you missed their grand opus.
I like this. I like the song. It's kind of this like. It makes me think of someone playing guitar in a bathtub.
Yeah.
An empty bathtub, and it just sounds like a country song with a guy that has a bunch of cotton in his mouth.
That's it. Yeah, it's pretty much like a pastiche, right? And it's just kind of.
It sounds like he's saying "goddamn." I got the stone, goddamn.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was quite nice. No?
What, that rendition?
That as well. Yeah.
I like the little choo-choo train horn.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was quite a nice ending, right? Let's sort it out with a little smile or something. Let's see you guys. Come back next time.
Yeah, it's like the train pulling out. Adios.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was Stag. So, like, Sam, what were your favourite songs and your least favourite songs?
I don't know. I think my favourite song was Buck Owens, as I was saying. Yeah, and I liked, what else did I put here? Skin Horse was good. And Tipping the Line was good. In terms of like what I didn't like, I think my least favourite song is, which is going to be no surprise, is Bar X, The Rocking End. I don't think I can listen to that again. Wow. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, what about you guys?
Harry?
Yeah, Buck Owens, I like a lot. The Bloat, Berthas, first half of Skin Horse. The only song I really don't like that much, like I said, is Soup. And yeah.
What about you, Dan?
I think my favourites are probably The Bit and The Bloat. I think they're just a little...
Sorry, that sentence.
There's a lot of B songs. The Bloat, Bar X, The Bit, Buck Owens, Berthas.
Black Bark.
Yeah. Black Funk, yeah.
Do you think Atlantic were like, we've got a load of bees hanging around in the pressing plant? Can you... Need you to write a quota of bee-related songs.
That's how the music industry works, right?
Yeah.
That's usually their priority. Your name's Buzz. You can think of loads of songs with bee in. Go on. Up to it. Yeah. What was your worst one?
My least favourite are Goggles and Sterilised and Lacrimosa. They just never seem to... They just never seem to go in.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I like those songs, but yeah,
I find them forgettable.
Yeah, fair enough. More there for the experience of the album, maybe.
Yeah, some sonic adventure.
What would you say is your final impression then? The album.
Pretty much what my opening impression was. I think I've enjoyed going on this journey with you both, but essentially it hasn't changed my opinion whatsoever.
What a surprise.
It's I think it's their most eclectic album. It's probably their like most vibrant, kind of colourful album. It's sort of like their White Album. You know, with them all contributing different songs. And I think I think it was right, though, that they probably just then moved on quickly. And I like that about them at this time in their career. it felt like every album was totally different, and they just like done, move on, something else. So like as much as I would like more material like this, I'm quite happy that it's just like one album, standalone, one moment in time.
And did you say this was your favourite Melvins album? Or have I made that up?
You've made that up. I think my favourite might be Hostile Ambient Takeover,
Right.
which is kind of heavy and kind of 70s influenced, and also very weird. Lots of experimentation and like keyboards, and I think Kevin's bass stuff on that is amazing. And then after that, like maybe the Bootlicker, which is like more laid back, experimental.
Yeah.
And Bullhead, which is like an early, quite heavy hard rock kind of album.
Okay.
So like my favourites are like dotted across all different eras of the band.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's one of the benefits of having a band that have been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
What about you, Harry? What any final thoughts on this album?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool album. I wish they had more stuff like this, but I feel like it was just a moment in time that was captured, for whatever reason, just things lined up, and having Mark D in the band. I like the way the albums, the Atlantic Years albums were recorded. I think like it just sounds really pristine. It just felt like stuff for the most part hasn't sounded as good sonically to me. They just sound really professional, and the drums really sound awesome and cut through.
What are they doing with those drums here that they're not doing anymore?
I don't know. Maybe they're like, I don't know. I know that Toshi just has a way of recording drums that just sound different to me. Like I really like that Mike and the Melvins record.
Yeah.
It was recorded by someone else, and I thought the drums sound more like they do in like the Atlantic Years stuff.
Yeah, that's a cool album. I like that one.
But, I don't know if I listen to everything now, this would be my favorite. It's more of like a nostalgic thing. When I was young, this one was the one that was my favorite. But I really like Ozma a lot. The Ozma and Bluey Porch treatments, like they really were doing these sort of complicated, weird songs, and they sort of simplify it after that. So I like that one a lot, and I don't know. I mean, for me, I kind of, after Stag, kind of, I don't know, been spotty with Melvin stuff, I guess.
Okay, so this was like their last hurrah for you.
In a way,
big,
yeah.
like...
Honky was cool, but it was a little too experimental to listen to on a regular. Like, I mean, I appreciate it. I think it's awesome. And then just the way that, when I heard the Maggot after this stuff, it just sounded so different sonically, and I wasn't really able to get it or appreciate it until like for a few years. Now I really like the Maggot, but the drums are just recorded really different. It's just a huge departure, which I'm sure they did on purpose, But I watched some live stuff from those years with Kevin, and it just really slays. He's such a weird performer. He just seems all like fucked up and drugged up, and dresses weird and moves weird, and it seems totally authentic. Like he's a real like freak, not like he's trying to be that way. There was a lot of energy to those performances, I felt like.
Right.
Yeah, I saw them with him a few times, and he was always really captivating. I think I saw his last show with the band, actually. I think it was in London. I don't think he played with them anymore. And David Yao came out at the end as well and did a version of Night Goat. And I always remember he was like really playing up, his like disgusting side.
Yeah.
And he had this tiny baby blue tight t-shirt with his beer belly sticking out. And I just remember him taking a packet of cigarettes and just like shoving them in his mouth and just kind of like eating them and going, "Oh, rah, rah, rah," and he just like spat them all out. And my friend got the cigarette pack after the gig. He was like, I got it.
Put it in a frame.
Yeah, this is going into my wank soup.
Yeah, I saw I'll perform with them in Georgia a couple times. They did Night Goat, and I think they did Blockbuster or something.
Oh, cool.
But there's a recording of him doing Smells Like Teen Spirit with them.
Yeah.
And, I think they're trying to make fun of it, but it actually sounds really cool. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I think I did it. I think I've got 2 shows back to back, like around 2000 or something. But I haven't listened to that in so long.
Nice.
When it comes to like recording drums and stuff and just general production, like how are you recording your stuff? I noticed you're working with, I can't pronounce his name. Is it Paul Rossler?
Yeah, it's Paul Rossler. He pretty much just mixes the drums the way he does, like I help with mixing and panning and basic stuff, but he does, especially drum the majority of that work, and I kind of just let him do what he does, and I think they sound pretty good. But I don't play much of a part like sonically. I mean, if I hear something, for me, it's more about like levels. I'll be like, the kick isn't coming out as much, or the drums are too loud, or the drums are too low, or something like that.
Mm.
Or there's too much cymbals or something. How do you think the drums sound on this stuff?
I thought it all sounded really good.
And then there's 2 drummers. I drum on some of the stuff, more kind of the simple stuff or the kind of sludgy stuff, some of it. And then this guy, Joe Berardi, who plays with me live sometimes, he's like a jazz drummer. He's like really good. So if there's something that I think I can't do or needs something better, I'll have him come in. Yeah, because I'm not
a little bit of flair.
Yeah, not a great drummer.
How do some of those songs come together composition wise? Because that's what I was thinking. I was listening to a lot of it, and especially that track. You've got a song called Balloons, which is really long. And it's
that's probably my favorite track I've ever done.
That's why it really jumped out at me. But it's really different, I think, to a lot of your other stuff because it feels almost like a like jazzy improv kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got the saxophone in it. That one was the kind of an idea I had of a song and just invite a lot of my friends to be guests on it. So there's a lot of people on it. My roommate sings on it. She does the kind of sexual girl sounds that, I don't know if you know that part. That one I just was like, actually it was inspired because I went to this Fish show, and at the hotel, everyone was doing nitrous in the parking lot. And I sat there and did nitrous all night it was just me and one guy doing it to the point where it was kind of like depressing and pathetic. And we were just kind of like, man, we should wrap this up and like call it a night. And my brain just felt like fried, like I had maybe done some permanent damage. Maybe I had. But the song came out of it, and I just felt weird for a while, maybe a week or 2. And I wrote that, and I wonder how all that came about. Sometimes I'll have a song idea and I'll try and book some time with Paul and we'll go in and do it. And then sometimes if I can't get in for a while, I just keep adding on to the song, which may have happened that time because it's like 11 minutes. And,
yeah, it's a long one.
I don't know. That was just one that flowed. I live in a house now. I had an apartment and just this kind of small little closet laundry room in the corner. I had it set up with a little amp, and I would write there. It was like the place where neighbors could hear me least, I thought. And I just came up with those parts and then just invited people in. I do some of it's got some of my drums, some programmed drums, and then Joe Berardi plays at the end when it gets kind of fast because I can't drum that fast. But the end to me sounds kind of like, for some reason, it makes me think of the Never-Ending Story, like writing Falcor or something. It's really like,
yeah.
like
Nice.
I'm surprised that it came together like that. I just assumed, I didn't realize it was like pieced together. I was thinking like, did they write this and rehearse it and then just go in and play it?
Well,
all
there's
in one
really no
go?
rehearsing. As far as Harry Cloud, it's not really a band. It's me playing everything, and we'll put a click track, so I can keep adding on, and we'll figure out, there's like different tempo changes and stuff. So as far as the way that stuff goes, sometimes stuff's written in the studio. We'll write parts, and then I'll be like, oh, this needs to be longer. Needs to be shorter. And we'll it can end up being kind of a process, like cutting and pasting stuff. It's not as organic as I don't know if that's the right word. Like Orphan Goggles is like a band. So we go in there and we record live, and then we, do overdubs and stuff. But Harry Cloud stuff's a little different.
Tinkering and building stuff up, and
sculpting a little bit. Each song's different. Some comes out right away, and then some we'll fool around with for a long time. Just
and when it
depends.
comes to playing live, then how do you do all that?
Well, with the Harry Cloud stuff, I feel like live we kind of don't really live up to the albums. I haven't played that much. It's Joe Berardi on drums, me guitar singing, and then Paul Rossler on the keys, and he kind of plays keys and tries to lay down kind of the bass section with some low end keys. And it's different because some songs he plays keys that don't even have keys on them on the album. But it's just like I know the guys. Part of it's just lazy too. I don't want to fucking get a bunch of people together and, play to a small amount of people. But we had a bass player that I really liked, but the drummer was complaining that it was getting too muddy between my guitar and his bass. And I was like, fine, we'll just want another bass player. But doing stuff like, balloons or something would be really hard to do live. So we do more of the, songs like Bowser, or kind of like rock, or what's the name of that song?
Brain?
We thought about doing Brain. We didn't do that one live.
That sounds like it was made to be played live.
I know, right? I just thought I thought about doing it with the fake applause in the background.
Yeah.
But,
I love that.
We do Momo Island, Pink Custard Pie, Asexual Bunny Rabbit, Sam Am, Haunted Hayride, Bowser, Corsets, Look What You Made Me Do, Voorhees and Pig. So I guess we do most of the stuff on here live. But we've only played maybe 10 times, maybe less. I've played tons with Orphan Goggles. But that's more of a band. We all get together and practice and write as a band. And
Have you played over here? Have you played in London, UK?
I haven't played in London specifically. I've played some solo sets by myself. I played in Berlin, and I kind of went with some friends who were doing solo stuff, and I played some shows with them here and there. I played somewhere in Italy, around Bari, and some real small town. But I just kind of, when I first started playing, I would play, by myself, and then I started doing these more professional sounding records with Paul and playing with bands. And then now I feel like when I play by myself, it's kind of underwhelming. I'm just used to having this power behind me.
Yeah.
And so the last few times I played at my friend's apartment in New York, and I just, maybe it's good to them, but it doesn't seem good to me. So no, I haven't really played over there our band. We would have to figure it out financially and stuff, It's
it'd be
just
good
hard.
to it'd be good to see you guys do it over here.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of my dream to do that. It'd be fun to tour Japan or something too.
Yeah.
Australia.
Man, Japan's my dream destination. I've never been, and I've always wanted to go since I was a kid.
It's somewhere I just want to go in general,
Yeah, definitely.
Can't you just tell Kevin to speak to Buzz, and Melvins should bring Hepatitis and Harry Cloud out on tour.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Probably be
Because I'd really like to see
Goggles.
Hepatitis as well.
Yeah, they're good. When they started out, like, I didn't think it was good, and I thought, like, am I just not seeing something? It started out, it was just Kevin. Then it was Kevin and Sterling. Sterling plays with me in Orphan Goggles. Then it was Kevin, Sterling, and this guy David. Then they brought in a drummer. Then David left. They gradually just got better and better, but just started really organically. Just started adding people slowly. And now they're this great sounding rock band. I mean, when I saw them last with the Melvins, I thought they were way better than the Melvins, just super fucking heavy. And
Nice.
Kevin's such a captivating guy, And I really kind of feel like, I don't know that he was really used to singing. His singing was pretty bad at first. And then he really kind of, I don't know, found his voice or whatever, but they're such a great band now.
Yeah, I really like their stuff. I've said it in my videos. I prefer what they've been putting out the last few years to what the Melvins have been doing, and it's just really fucked up.
Yeah, it is. And like, he's doing this solo stuff with his wife now, and I haven't heard it, but they're coming up with pretty funny titles. One's called Anal Three-Way, and then yeah, it's he's got pretty like funny titles and twisted like sexual stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely not afraid to go there.
Yeah,
He's probably
Not
been
worried
spending
about
too much
being
time at the torture
politically
museums
correct.
as well.
Yeah, maybe. He's probably got some of that shit in his bedroom. Who knows?
So, what's next for you? Have you got any plans, or has everything just been completely put on hold because of COVID?
Well, I have another Harry Cloud record that's been ready for a while that might be my favorite overall. Yeah, so the studio I record at with Paul, the lady who runs it, it's called Kitten Robot Studio. She's started a record label, so they're gonna put out it's supposed to happen. They're gonna put out my new album like proper and get some like PR for it and stuff. So kind of just been waiting on that to happen, being patient with that.
Cool.
Maybe this summer or something it'll be out. We're supposed to have talks about it this month. And then Orphan Goggles has an album that's ready, like 12 songs. That's the most we've ever put out on something, and we've really kind of slaved over it to try and be one of our best records. Me and Sterling are the writers of that band. It's like an equal leadership thing, and we're gonna try and shop that around. But yeah, basically like 2 albums I'm sitting on. Skin Tag's writing some stuff. So
Nice.
That's great. Yeah, well, I look forward to hearing it because Dan, turned me onto your stuff.
I'll send you.
I genuinely really enjoyed it.
Cool, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll send you like a private SoundCloud playlist of the new album. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah. What, me or Dan?
Both of you guys. Y'all can share it with each other.
Yeah. I was going to say, is it going to sound like Stag? Is that the problem?
No. Maybe a little. I don't know what it sounds like.
Good. Well, that's part of the fun, I suppose.
There's like some Viking rock on it, and there's some kind of funk on it, and there's some kind of incesticide sounding stuff on it. Like pretty heavy doom on it.
Brilliant.
I just love that all of your albums are so eclectic across the map. It just seems to be like so many different like styles in there. Especially Big in the Machine. It's kind of like every song, like where are we going to go next?
Yeah. You thought this one was more accessible than the other ones, you said.
Yeah, I
think so.
It seems a little more like rounded and maybe a little bit more
like flows a little better. Maybe.
Yeah, some of those jumps on the other albums from like track to track, they weren't as like dramatic on the Pig in the Machine.
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, there's loads of like, you know, for people that are into alternative rock, you know, you don't have to be into like weird out there avant-garde, totally experimental stuff. There's a ton of like really good material that, you know, casual rock fan would enjoy.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, definitely.
it'd be great if your next release gets like a bit more distribution and PR.
Yeah, that would be good. I get some really good reviews, but it's more just for my own ego stroking. I don't know really people see it. I mean, your reviews of my stuff have been the best and the most thoughtful, and my friends have seen them and be like, God, this guy really like delves in. I remember Kevin being really impressed with your Blue Fat Pussy review.
I should do another hepatitis at some point.
We got to do the corn one. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah, we'll book it in. We'll make because we choose it randomly usually at the end. But yeah, we'll the next music one we'll arrange, and yeah, we'll do corn by corn. Do you want to hear before you go? Do you want to hear some of the reviews for Stag? I've got 2 reviews.
Oh yeah, I'd love
Let's
to
do
hear
it.
them. Negative reviews, hopefully, those are the best.
I hate it.
This review comes from Carsten Falkball Pedersen, and he gave it 5 out of 5. So obviously a big fan. And this one, subject: a real vinyl set. This is a dream of a re-release. Impossible to get off the stereo when first on. Imagine if the greatest punk rock band in the world made an album. This is the sound of that. Just get it right. Just get it right now. Don't think. Trust me. If this one doesn't cut it, nothing will. Just horse back to the Daft Punk and sleep again. Real rock is not for you. But if you like your music raw and stony as fook, this could be the time of your life.
Where did you find this review?
I think this is Amazon
okay.
review. And then I've got
Was it Billy Joe Armstrong?
yeah, Billy Joe Armstrong.
You'll have the time of your life.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, I was thinking more.
Oh God.
And then the negative review is from the NME, Dan, the New Musical Express. And,
Back, I say.
you know, the real, you know, cornerstone of musical criticism. I hate NME and always have done. But here's Tom Cox from the NME. And that's his real name. It's metal is the new punk. Haven't you heard? No? Oh well, the Melvins are going to have a go at convincing you anyway. 13 albums down the line and they're still singing roadies from hell, serving on plaudits from grunge and punk luminaries, yet playing music which faithfully waxes the devil's genitalia. Needless to say, Stag is a hugely depraved record, a hideous, deformed creature spawned by alien minds. Great! It farts in the direction of 3-chord boredom and makes Rancid sound about as hardcore as Moist Fish Fingers.
Moist Fish Fingers.
Yeah. That's when, you know, when you get them out of the oven and it's not quite done, is it? A bit too floppy. But not so great. It's totally unlistenable and slightly more metal than the Pompidou Centre. This is, to all intents and purposes, what Metallica sounds like to your great aunt. So, midst the grunts, growls and pummelings of sludge guitar, the search is on for some creative justification for the Melvins' continuing status as Kurt Cobain's favourite band. The somewhat scant findings are a touch of mismatched Led Zepp ambience surfing between songs, and the decidedly peculiar Black Bock, which barfs on about cutting the throat of the billy goat and threatens to become a hard rock ween. It's weird, such a weird thing. Not a nice thought. Still, we're obliged to love the Melvins for being the non-PC charmers that they are, and, after all, they're only larking around. So by all means, buy them a beer, but on no account go anywhere near their records. Stag are shite. And guess what they gave it out of 10?
1.
You're close. You're
A
one
3.
off. It's a 2.
None.
2.
Oh,
See, I don't know. To me, that was kind of like a nice review. Like they ended up like shitting on it, but some of the stuff you said was like, I mean, what do you think, Dan? Didn't some of that sound kind of complimentary in a way?
yeah. It felt like there was a good review in there.
Yeah. I mean, he put a lot of time into it and being kind of clever with his words to insult it. You know,
Yeah.
Just made some sort of impression. You know.
Quite verbose, if that's the right word. Yeah, that's the reviews. So people generally seem to like it, but Enemy hated it. But, you know, this was probably... Tom Cox probably runs fucking BBC Radio 1 now. Who knows? Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Should we go to Nerd Corner briefly as well?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry, forgot about Nerd Corner. Let's go to Nerd Corner.
There's actually quite a lot in Nerd Corner, but I'm going to keep it brief and just mention in 1997, the Melvins did a singles run on Amphetamine Reptile Records. So they put out a single every month for the whole of 1997.
Wow.
And these singles, like, they're a real weird experimental grab bag of stuff. Like there's a lot of like, there's a song I think called like Double Troubled, which is like just them playing around with tapes, just like fast forward.
A lot of it's just crap.
Rewind it. Yeah. Yeah. Cut to the chase. That's essentially what I was trying to say.
I like their Promise Me cover, a Gun Club cover. That's pretty.
That's
what
cool,
it
yeah.
is. I can't remember what's all on those. I had the CD with the singles. I like their, or I don't know. Did they have their Germs cover on one of those, or maybe not?
Yeah, Lexicon Devil.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And Teresa Screams. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't like that one very much.
It's just someone practicing a scream in the studio for about 3.5 minutes, right?
God.
But amongst all this stuff, there's a legitimate outtake from Stag, which is, so it was on the 8th single, track called Specimen. And yeah, if you go online, like a lot of people really love this song. There's a lot of people going like, this is the best Melvin song. It's kind of in the same vein, I suppose, as like Goggles and Sterilized. In that it's kind of like, it's pretty heavy, but it's also kind of weird. So yeah, if that's like your kind of thing, if that's your side of the Melvins that you like, it's worth tracking this song down. And yeah, especially in this day and age, you can just go on YouTube and find it. So
yeah,
Specimen it's called.
Okay, cool. Is that it for Nerd Corner?
That's it. I was going to go on about all the reissues and stuff, but I think we'll wrap it up.
Okay. Harry, where can people find you? What do you want to plug? What do you want to link to?
There's harrycloudmusic.com. That's kind of like has all my bands on it and links to everything and videos and stuff, pictures, reviews. So you could start there, and that links to like, there's like some live shows on archive.org, mainly Orphan Goggles stuff. And, I'm also on Bandcamp. White Worm Records has Orphan Goggles and Fannyland and Harry Cloud.
You on any social media channels?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, SoundCloud. There's a Orphan Goggles SoundCloud, a Harry Cloud SoundCloud. Got stuff on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff.
Cool. Yeah, and yeah, I highly recommend The Pig and the Machine. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's like my first interview kind of. I've been like shy about doing them, and I was like, you should say yes. And it ended up being a lot of fun. So
yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. It's nice to have an actual Melvins fan in the house for this.
Hey.
It's been quite difficult.
Hey, what are you trying to say, Dan?
I did like having someone who's not a Melvins fan and isn't that impressed. It makes it much more interesting than us everyone gloating over it,
Yeah, wanking on each other's backs.
Yeah. Waking it to, Melvins are geniuses.
Exactly. I put a stop to that. Not having any of that around here.
You cock blocked it.
Yeah. And Dan, anything you want to plug? Anything going on?
Go over to my Instagram and YouTube channel, Dreadful Dan's Discs.
Dreadful Dan's Discs.
There'll be plenty more fun music conversation.
Right, Dan, you ready to find out what we're going to be watching a film next week?
Cool.
You ready to find out what it is? Harry, you ready? Find out what we're going to watch.
Yeah.
The excitement's killing you.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of my favourites. I'm actually really excited about it. It is. I don't know if you've seen this actually. It's Fantastic Planet, Le Planète Sauvage.
I've seen it because you made me watch it.
I've never heard of it.
That sounds about right. It's a French 60s animated film about humans who live on this alien planet with these huge, massive, like the humans are like 3 or 4 inches tall. And there's these big aliens who are like blue and they like, it's really like quite psychedelic. And the music is actually, is really weird and cool. But the actual animation, if you watch it, it's all like beautifully hand drawn and it's just like, they make these weird alien creatures. Watch the trailer for it. It's basically about humans like no longer being pets and trying to like rise up against trying to work together to rise up against the aliens who are like evil, but they're not really evil. They're just like normal people, but like they just think of humans as like pets. It's like, we're not going to take it anymore. It's really good. It's strangely bleak, and yet I've got like an original.
When was it made?
I think I want to say maybe it's like 1970 or something. Let's have a look. But it's 1973. Yeah. But I think you'd really dig it. Actually, it's fucked up in its own weird way. It's only just over an hour long.
It's quite beautiful though as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautifully animated and but like the soundtrack's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, check it out.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that actually. Fantastic Planet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Let's watch it. So yeah, again, that's it. Thanks very much, Harry, for coming on as well. That's been great.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Harry.
Yeah. And for everyone at home, we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to Oddcast Movies, Music and Gaming. If you want to get in touch with us or get a movie, album or game put on our list to discuss, then email us at oddcastoddballs@gmail.com or a newwinterpodcast@gmail.com. This is part of a New Winter Podcast network, so head on over to newwinter.net to check out our other shows. You can also follow us on Instagram at A New Winter, Twitter at A New Winter, and you can head on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/A New Winter. Thanks for listening and see you again soon.
Listen up. You don't want to compromise on quality when it comes to your skin. It deserves respect. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's going to cost the earth. But don't worry, it doesn't have to. That's where Bulldog Skincare comes up trumps. They make straightforward products that don't compromise on quality. All their products are developed using quality natural ingredients and are mixed up by some skincare boffins who know what's what. Be loyal to your skin. Check out the website at bulldogskincare.com.